Hope so. Now you have practiced it a bit, like moving a bit. So these all three seven default objects, we can edit them as we want. So let me delete these six objects for now. How can we select all those? Let me just here you will see my mouse buttons left or right. Till holding my left mouse button and then dragging it, so this white line is increasing, then all the objects in this square will be selected. Then just press delete key on my keyboard and it will be deleted. Now it's just a plane we have in the viewport. Now there are many other objects like this. We have monkey here, Suzanne. What monkey or Suzanne do? So Blender have a very special object that is Suzanne. So here you are able to see the topology of this object. Let me delete this plane too. Sorry. Now with this, there is another object that is called grid that is similar to the plane, but I will not tell you what is use of this because I never used this in my entire career. So let's delete this also. Now let me introduce to an other tool which is called materials. But before that, let me tell you what are modifiers. So Suzanne is a very special or main character of the Blender. It is by default we have. So now we are going to add modifier to this object. And what is modifier? Modifier is little like a add-on. If you go to the modifier this panel, this is called modifier panel. And then you add modifier and then you go to the generate option. And then here are a bunch of the modifiers you are able to see. Then you have to scroll down and the last it's called subdivision surface. If you select this modifier, then you are able to see the difference between in this. So let me add in other Suzanne, move it on the x-axis, then add other Suzanne by the default. Here you are able to see the difference. This is Suzanne in which we added our subdivision modifier that is also called subdiv. But this is by default Suzanne and no modifier are added in this. It is by default. The smoothness of this and this is extremely different. So subdivision is a modifier which helps you to smooth your object as much as you want them. So here, if I increase here, you are able to see subdivision modifier. This is added to our object levels viewport. What is levels viewport and what is render? I will tell you what is render a little bit late in our coming videos. It's a little bit advanced topic for now. So if I increase the number of this like 2, here you are able to see the more I increase number, the more smooth our object will be like this. Now I just what I did, it was a 1. Now I made it 6. So here you are able to see the difference of it. It is a totally smooth object and here it is a non-smooth object. The difference you are able to see from now. If I made it 1 again, then it will be a lot smoother than our default Suzanne. But if we increase the number of level viewports in the modifier, then it will be a lot smoother. If I made it 6 is a last number. So it is completely smooth. Now made it 2. But if I am just set the viewport levels viewport at 1 and then right click press right click on my mouse, and then here you are able to see a bunch of options. Then do just one thing, go to this first option, shed smooth. Then the same level of smoothness you will see that you saw in at 6 number in the levels viewport. So what is different between in those things? If you shade smooth any object, that will use your CPU at the lowest rate. But if you increase the number at the levels viewport in the subdivision modifier, it will use your GPU and CPU at much higher level. So it depends on your computer or PC or your system. If your PC is allowing you to make it 6, then it's a very good thing to do. And sometimes at Shed Smooth you will see there are many bugs you will see in when you advance your level, when you do advanced projects and advanced product modeling. But yeah, and Shed Smooth is a very beneficial tool in Blender. So now let's delete this and then come to. So now you know what Shed Smooth means. Sorry, Shed Smooth and also subdivision modifier. What does mean by subdivision modifier? You know by this. And then now what we have to do, draw to this red circle that is called materials properties. And if you draw in this and select new by selecting this, by selecting your object and then press new on this, and now it's your material is generated for this object. Now its surface, base color, metallic, roughness, IOR, alpha normal. Now by one, I will tell you what does mean by all these things. If I change the color from here, like it's white now, I have to just make it red. Here you are no able to see the color difference in this because here it is on the viewport shading. But if we change it in the shading or viewport shading material preview, then if you will see the difference of color. If we change any color, you're able to see. But if we are in the viewport shading, you will see nothing, like no any color. It's a non-color viewport shading where just your mesh default colors are. So let me change my shading to material preview, and then what you have to do, set your color as you want. How to change color? Just go on the base color and then press here to the color, and then you can rotate this circle as you want it, like any color you want it. With this, like I want this a little yellow. With this, if you scroll down, it will be dark, it will be darker. But if you scroll up, it will be more brighter. So it's a HUE, and then saturations, value, you have to adjust it as you want it. And then the second comes metallic. What does metallic mean? The it's on 0. If you increase it, your object will be metallic. Now you are not able to see the, what can I say? You are not able to see the major difference in this. If we still we are in the material preview, but if we change our material preview to the render shading, then it will give you a proper results. But for now, we are in the material preview. That's why it's not fully like metallic, but it's given the feeling or vibe of it. So you have to adjust it. So let me tell you, in real world, there's a no any such thing on zero or fully on zero or fully on one scale. The metal lip, you have to adjust it between 0 and 1, like 0.927. I am just making it zero point 0.8, like this. Let me do it 0 0, and then after this comes roughness. What roughness do? The less roughness you have, the more shiny object you will be, like a glass. It's given the shine. So the more roughness you will increase, it will be a more smooth, no shiny effects like a full rubber. So same goes with this. You don't have to zero, and also you don't have to only one. You have to make few adjustments between 0 to 1. So by default it's on 5. I am just decreasing it a little bit to give it a shine. And then after it comes IOR. What IOR means? IOR means index of refractions. So you have to adjust it, like if we are making glass object, then the index of refraction of glass, you have to set it up. So I will tell you this thing in our coming videos. You can, if you are making any object, you can search it on Google, index of refraction of this object, and you will see the values, and you can just put it here. By default it is 1.5, and I am setting them. And here after this there is a alpha. What alpha does? So if I decrease alpha, you are able to see our object is totally invisible. So we are not able to see this. So it's depends on of if by default it's on 1. So it depends how much you want your object to disappear. Like if you set it 1.1, 1 point, sorry, 0.1, then you will see our object is little bit visible, but at the same time 90% of object is invisible. So the work of alpha is this, and then I will tell you what transmission do. If I just decrease the roughness and increase the transmission level, now you are, it's feel like it's jelly. But if we change it to the render preview, but in this we don't have any light, so I will tell you what is difference between render shading and material preview in our coming lectures. So you don't have to worry about that. Now what does transmission do? It just give you, what can I say? It transmit your object like a glass. If we are going to make a glass, then you just have to set up roughness at 0 and give it a 1 transmission fully, then your object will be transparent. You are able to see both side from one end. Now I am going to make it 0 and give it a little bit roughness so it won't be shined anymore. Then there is another thing called coat. What does coat mean? Coat means you are painting something over something. Like if you have a wall and you are painting it with a different color, then the both color have different shades. I'm going to make it 1, give it a little bit roughness and change the color of it. Like if I am going to give it red, the mixture of blue, sky blue and red are making this color. So you are painting something over in something. So you are painting a red color over blue color. The both color when mix, the third color will come up like this. Now these are little bit advanced settings I will tell you in your coming videos. So now you know how to give color to object. Now I will tell you how to add Cambria to your scene. So I just changed the material preview to our viewport shading. Now if you go to this add button and then you will come down, you will see here it is Cambria. If you add this, then here our Cambria is added to our scene. Now how to see from the Cambria, you just have to click this button, total the Cambria view. Now you are able to see the view from your Cambria. Now if I press it again, I am able to see the complete view, not from just from the Cambria angle. So now our object is here. Our Cambria is here. And it's the frame of this Cambria. So we have to move this Cambria from here to here to see. But there's another way to do this. But before that, let me do what I told you in our lectures. Let me move this Cambria from here to here. To just press G on your keyboard, that means grab tool, and then X. Then press Y on your keyboard to move it a little bit. And then press G again and Z on your keyboard to move it on the Z axis. If now I am going to see from my Cambria, then you will see here is it. We are able to see our object from the Cambria view. But in other way to do this, you have to just go to the Cambria view and then you just have to press N on your keyboard or just on this. Sorry. Then you just have to press N on your keyboard and then you have to go to this option view. And here you are able to see lot to you just have to check on this button Cambria to view. Now if you press again N on your keyboard, then it will be hide. Now you are able to move your Cambria handle with your mouse with the scroll wheel or middle mouse button. If you zoom out, it will be zoom out, and if you zoom in, it will be zoom in. And if you rotate your mouse, you will able to rotate your view of it. Now I am going to add like this at the center, and then if you are done with your handles, you just have to press and again on your keyboard and just uncheck this button. So if you rotate your mouse again, your Cambria will be set up as you did. So your Cambria will not have any access to move it further. So you just have to press N on your keyboard again. And then let's come out from the Cambria view. Now let me tell you what are the render settings. So here you have to this button, it's called render engines or render properties. So now it's render engine, it's on AV. AV is used for toys or any rubber that are non-realistic in the world. But if you change this into cycles, that will give us a realistic look. Now you don't have to be confused or nervous about this. With every video, I'll give you little techniques to know what this engine means. So you just have to, I just want you to know little things about engines. So for that reason, I am telling you, you don't have to worry about it completely. So now you do this and then I am going to select from here to CPU to GPU because I have my graphic card. If you don't have any graphic card in your PC, then your CPU will not feel like this. Let me tell you, you just have to go to this edit button and you come down and here you are able to see preferences and then you have to go to the system. Now if you don't have any GPU, it will be here, none. Or if you have any GPU, then you still have to come here and select the graphic card as you want them. So if it's none from here and if you have already GPU, then you can check from Krida which graphic card you have, and you have to check and uncheck if you have CPU and graphic card both are good for according to the blender, and same goes with optics. And if I am selecting this none, then you are able to see our GPU is not compatible with our system, so we can only use CPU. But if we change our settings from here to the optics Quadro RTX 3000 I have card, and then I change from CPU to GPU. Now it's using our graphic card, so you have to change it if you have graphic card. But if you don't have any graphic card, then you can use CPU. With GPU, your renders will be faster, even more faster than on your CPU. So GPU is a very powerful tool in Blender animations and VFX and these industries. So you must invest something in your GPU too. But if you are a beginner in this, then you don't need to do this. After a little time, you should definitely. And then after this, go to this third button, viewport shading, that is called rendered. So here you are able to see our object light is different from our viewport or material preview because it gives only realistic loads. In real viewport, we don't have any light added to our object. If we add a light, then we are able to see the light. So just you have to go to this add button and then scroll down and in here. Here are four different lights we can add to our viewport. So for now, I am going to add area. So I just add area, then I am just moving it a little bit up and then rotating it on the x-axis. Now again I have to move it. Now you are able to see we are going to see our object from camera. Then here this is a look. Don't worry about this. When we are going to render this model, we will not see our light. So let me little bit move it here. And now if I have to and give a little bit strength to our light, like here is a light. If you select object, here will be materials, but if you select light, here will be a button called lights. Here you are able to change the color of your light, like any color you want to give it. And down you are able to see power. If you increase the power, the more power you will give, the more light comes from this, and it's called area light. If I give it 20,000, I guess, and then duplicate this. How to duplicate any object or anything in viewport? You just have to press shift and D on your keyboard to duplicate this. And then I am going to add here, like here, and rotate it on the Z axis and scale it on the Z axis. And then this light like this, and then you just have to go to this. And if you now see from the camera view, you will see the difference between this. Let me increase the power of it. Then rotate a bit. Now, from if we are going to see from bed view, there is no any light added to our scene. So we have to add one bed light or rim light from in our viewport. You just have to press shift like this. And then if you press G or wrap tool on your keyboard like G and Z, your object will move in the Z axis. But if you press Z again, then your object direction will be different to move. But before this, let me duplicate this and then press Z once time and again to change the view of it, to give it a light. Then I have to just rotate it. Then if I am going to see this from our view, it will give us look like this. Just I have to increase it, scale it Z axis, and then what we can do. Here you are able to see our I gave light into our object, but here in the viewport it's a little bit brighter. How to change the color of our world? So it's called world or viewport. So you just have to come here to the world properties and then you have to select this color and then just go a little bit down and make it black. If you now see the look of your color, it will be like it's giving a more beauty to our scene. So if I scroll up, then you will see our world color will be brighter like white, but if we scroll down in the blend, we will see color. But if we increase the strength of this, the black color light will be increasing. So I am just making it to the one as it was, and then we just have to go to our render properties and then you are able to see render and viewport math samples. So the total samples are 4096, but you increase it or if you decrease it like 100, 200, 500, or 1000 up to, then maybe your render quality will be little bit decreased, but your render will be faster. So I am just adjusting it to the 500 and also the random math sample also to the 500, and then just this. I will tell you other things in our coming lecture, so you don't have to worry about that. I am just telling you all these things to give it little bit review of the things that you are going to learn in our coming videos. So now you just have to come here, right on, click on this render button, and then you just press render image. Now it will take little time to set it. It's now 60 to complete it 500 samples. Here it is, our first render image of the Suzanne Monty. Now make little object like this, add by default, give them materials and render the image. And tag me or send it to the comments so I will know you are doing it by yourself too. You are learning something and that is valuable to me. So now how to save this render? You just have to go to the image and then save as you have to select, and then you have to just select the folder where you want to save it. Now I want to save it on the desktop and I am going to rename it by my first render and then press save as image. It will be saved on your desktop. So we did it, our first render. Now I hope so you are also doing this. So practice as much as you can.